Hello, you guys. It is I, James Chandler, once again. I'm going to do this video again about a game I invented called Alphabet Bandit. This is a game that's full of bounty hunting fun, okay? And I'm sure a lot of people know about bounty hunting. That's when someone goes after their prey. They go after the enemy or their adversary or um, for some type of reward. They go after a bounty for a reward, and basically, Alphabet Bandit is the person who gets either all the letters, they will be the winner, or if they uh, or eliminate, kill an opponent in this war zone, okay, of a game. The last man standing is the winner. So that's really the object of the game. This is the board. You see, I'm gonna have to explain this again. Uh, the ABCs and the one, two, threes. This is a game targeted toward young children and even older adults who wants to play with their children with this game. Young teens can also play. It's a very fun game, and also it helps uh, with spelling. If your child have trouble with spelling, you can teach them through a game, this type of game. And if they love spelling, this will be the greatest game in the world to them. And it teach them even with knowing the numbers and knowing the letters, their ABCs, spelling, the numbers. And it's full of fun. It's a challenging game if you like challenges or challenging someone or uh, going head to head. This is the game for you. Uh, it's called Alphabet Bandit. Who's going to be the Alphabet Bandit? The Alphabet Bandit is the one who is left standing on the board, or the winner who has all the alphabets checked off in the list. Okay, now so you see the board. Let me explain more about the board before I go into something else. Uh, this orange part here is called the graveyard on the Alphabet Bandit board. The graveyard, and in the graveyard, dead people is there. So, like I said before, um, through elimination, um, that's how a person dies and becomes worm food in this graveyard. so, uh, and I'm going to show you more what an elimination is, and um, it can be a very long game when it comes to actually trying to get all the letters, but that's what makes it fun. And you can go on and on spelling different words. By all means, you can't spell the same word over and over again on the same, in the same game timing. So that would be considered cheating. It's a lot of rules to the game. So even with other things I'm gonna get to shortly. So that's the gist of this board. Um, Here in the blue, so I explained the orange, which is the graveyard. That's where the dead goes once a character is eliminated. They go here, but they start off here in the blue. Start or player one is here. Start two or player two is here. Start three or player three is here. Start four, player four is here. It's a four-player game. Okay, and the board is set up where green is the first player, so the character will be green. Yellow is the second player. Blue is the third player, and red is the fourth player. Okay, and that's where they start. Okay, so and again, it's full of bounty fun. So let's set up the board. Okay, so I'll set it up this way here. Okay, have the graveyard this way. Have the start here, and the alphabets here. Okay. Now I'm going to introduce you to the characters. Okay. Again, this board game is at the beginning stage. So I'm dealing here with cowboys, as you can see, and Indians. Okay, and they already have something to stand on, so that makes it pretty easy for me, and it's cool, and they can roam around and without falling all over the place. Of course, you gotta watch not knocking over the board or something, so because it's flabby, you know. So, um, so the first player I said in start one or player one is green, so he goes here. Okay, maybe if you get a little closer there, maybe that'll help a little bit. Okay, so let me show you like this. Okay, so you saw it in that angle. Put it back some. Okay, so there's green is number one, yellow is number two, player number two, blue is player number three, another Indian, and red is number four. Two Indians, two Cowboys. Okay, now you can play this game in teams, 2-on-2. You know what I'm saying? And and of course, when you're playing 2-on-2, the object is you're working as a team to get all the letters. You know what I'm saying? So you have to work together, not to work yourself too hard, because you don't want to be getting the same letters over and over again, because you can't use the same letters. You can only check off a letter once, and it's best to check off all the letters on the list to be a winner or elimination. Okay, but I'm going to play this game individually, so everybody is for their self. That's the way I like to play it. I think it's best to be played that way. But you can play it 2-on-2 as well. Okay, the board is set up, so the players are ready. Okay, set up there in their start positions. Okay, this here is a list of the alphabets. Okay, from A to Z. Okay, and the lines here is where the checks will go. Okay, so on the board game, once you get a letter, you move your character or the player to a letter, spelling out whatever word you choose to spell out. And at the end of what you spell, the letter at the end of what you spell is your player is going to land on, and that is the place where he's going to be until his next turn. Okay, so that's a move. That's one move. Okay, and all the letters you mentioned in that one move, you have to mark off each letter. So a person can easily win if they spell a big enough word that takes up the whole letter racket, or just enough to get one end of the letters. Things like that can happen as words that's out there that's real huge, and people spell it encyclopedia. You might get a whole bunch of words there, and you could easily win like that. Um, but that's one way, through letters. Okay. Now, before you even start the game, you want to make a decision whether you want to play just elimination, and that is, you will still have to, you know, we're going to get to the point where we talk about the bag. When you pull out a letter, um, you spell out a letter like you do. And when you pull out a number, you land on that number. That's all you can do. There's no number on this sheet. It's just letters because it's alphabet bandit. So you're basically at a disadvantage. But it is a move. So you stay there on whatever number you choose. Okay. Um, but it gives uh, your opponent an opportunity to either eliminate you or, you know, win the game through getting all the letters, you know, because it's about the letters, really. You know, the letters are like gold or money or, you know, rewards, you know, property, or, you know, it's of great value to the characters on the board. Okay. So you can either play elimination, and that's when you try to get rid of the different players on the board, not necessarily worrying too much about getting all the letters. It's about eliminating until there's nobody left on the board but you. You know, that's some action. You know, and plus it's a little easier and quicker. You know, you can easily get rid of somebody like almost that. You know, and that's what makes the game fun, like a rise and fly game. Or you can play last letter win, and that's like a full that can last for like 20 is really up to you and your spelling. um you know, it's really up to you how long that game could last, because it can last about an hour to 30 minutes, you know, 20 minutes. It could be a long game, you know, to get every letter through whatever you spell. Once you get it checked off, the person got all their letters checked off, they're the winner, you know, before the other person gets all the letters checked off. So that's how you play that last letter win. But if you want to do both, elimination and last letter win, you check both. Okay, then you can don't have to worry about that much which one you want to do. You can either eliminate or you could do the other. It doesn't matter, or you could do both. You know, get a few letters because you're going to be doing letters anyway. So basically, uh, but by all means, if you're not just eliminating or not just that, you know, you want to check them, check either or those boxes. Or if you're doing both in this particular game, check both and then get started with actually playing the game. That's how you make your decision whether you want to do both in this game or one or the other in this game. Make that decision before you play. Okay, so that's the list. You just basically check off the letters. Um, there's no numbers on here. That's the gist of the list. Okay, so the board is set, the characters are there, the list is explained, the bag. Okay, this is the holding bag. Still in the beginning stage. I kind of like the bag idea. You know, it could be a smaller bag, you know, which will be cool. Or I had a thought of, you know, the game being like Trouble, where it could be like a bubble and you could just pop it and whatever of the alphabets pop up, that's the one you choose, and you make a spelling word off that off that letter and play the game that way. Or have like something that's like technical, that goes real fast and you got to push it and it stops on a letter, but you got to be quick or something, and that's what determines what you're going to spell, blah blah blah. You know, so it's many good ideas in that range, but right now this is what I got. I got a big old huge bag, and in this bag is letters and numbers. So what we do when we start the game, since the game is already set up, I'm going to play it all the way through so you can see it in its full entirety. Okay, so um okay, everybody will have a pen or a paper, a pen and a list, an individual list. Unless you're playing teams, then, you know, two on two, one team will have a list, the other team will have a list. But if you're playing individuals, each person must have their own list. There's a front and back, you know, so it won't be easily using a paper like that. So once the board is set, you got your men on the board, everything is in the bag, it's set right there. You want to start with your list, okay? Okay, this game right here, we're going to do elimination and last letter win. So because I don't want to make it an issue whether I'm gonna do this or do that. I want to just play. So we're gonna just play. If you want to just play, you check both of them. Sometimes you might want to do your first hand or your first game. Which let's just play. And then you might want to get into a little bit more detail. Okay, let's do elimination. You just check off elimination and just focus on eliminating. Or next game, just focus on getting all the letters. But right now, we're going to do both. We're going to just play the game. So we're going to check off both if we want to just play the game, smooth selling. Boom. So check. That's done. Pins down. Green is the first player going first. You can do that by age, from the oldest person who's playing the game to the youngest, however you want to do that. But whoever choose the color, somebody choose green, they got to go first. Somebody choose yellow, they got to go second. Blue, third, red, fourth. So this is how it's set up for players, okay? So green is first, okay? He goes, grab the bag, shakes it up, okay? Shakes it up real good. You can do like this, you can do like that, swirl it. But you want to shake it up, not too fancy, don't hit nobody in the face. And the first things first is, this is not a letter, this is a number 5, okay? Throw that right back in the bag. Really, there's nothing much you can do with 5, but just move to A is 1, B is 2, C is 3, D is 4, E is 5. That's all you can really do, is just land on 5. That's what numbers, okay? Numbers, you got to just land where they are. There's no spelling, there's no spelling, there's basically you just stuck there, okay? And it's kind of like a disadvantage because you had no opportunity to check off any letters, and that's a part of this particular game when you're doing both as well. But since we're doing both, you don't have to worry about that. Now you can just focus on, okay, I'm going to pay more attention to eliminating since I ain't getting no letters. Or I can, whatever the advantage is. So you don't have to worry so much once you check both of them. Okay, player 2. So he reaches in. He pulls out the same number, 5. He throws it in there. And with that being said, 5, you can only move to that number. And sadly, green is in number 5, so this makes this an elimination. Boom. So green cowboy killed by a cowboy. Of course, they have their gun, so you know what he was killed by, a gun. And he's going to the graveyard. So when they go to the graveyard, they don't stand up in the graveyard. They lay on their back because they're dead, okay? And they stay there until the ending of the game to whoever wins that's playing the game, in the moment of in that moment. So, okay. So next player is blue, player number 3. He goes in here, reaches his hand in there, he pulls out 11. So it's a lot of numbers being pulled out right now. And you want to reach your hand in and reach it right out. So you don't want to cheat, okay? So K is 11. And actually, if you move closer to an opponent, you can actually point your weapon at them. And then the other person can point their weapon at you. But they got to stay in those same spots that they're in. So this makes it a war zone. You see a challenge here, okay? So on to player number 4. Shakes the bag like everybody else. Pulls out. Sorry, see I'm doing this. Okay. Number 8. Okay, so we're dealing with numbers still. So H is 8. Put him there. There is no player 1. He's eliminated, so we go automatically to player 2, which is yellow. And he begins to shake the bag again. Okay. He reaches reaches out. He finally got to the letter. It's G. Okay, see that? G. Okay. So you can either mark off the G now or wait till later until you actually figure out what you're going to spell with this G. Now, yellow wants to eliminate somebody. So he wants to spell something that he can get on one of these letters. Okay. Okay. So he sees that red is on the H and blue is on the K. Okay. It's easily seen. Now, if the letters wasn't easily seen, you couldn't just pick up somebody's uh, man and look at the letter they're on. That would be cheating, because at this point you got to guess what they are to even try to eliminate. But since the letters are so big, you can actually see it. So he wants to eliminate somebody, and he has to spell out a word with an ending of whatever letter one of these guys are on. So red is on H, blue is on K. So with a G word, yellow wants to spell geek. G, okay? So G is the first letter. He marks it off. G with a check. Okay? Then you move to E. You want to do it like this and move them from place to place so people can see what you're spelling, so they won't call out, "Oh, you're cheating. You wasn't right here. You didn't knock me down." You don't want no issues like that, because then somebody, it's a he say she say game then, and it can become cheating. So you want to spell out the word and move your thing slowly but surely so everybody can see what you're spelling out and where you're moving, okay, and who you're going to hit. So he's eliminating somebody. So G, E. So you want to check off the E. You got it. You got a G and the E. You got another E, which that other E doesn't matter because you can't mark off another E. So it's a disadvantage. It's a letter. Another letter you could have had. Missed, an opportunity missed. So, but you got that K. That's all you wanted anyway. So it wasn't about the letters that you were trying to get. You were trying to eliminate somebody. So you got the K, geek. And now the blue Indian is in the graveyard. Okay, you mark off that K. Okay, so after yellow, it's blue turn. Blue can't go because he's in the graveyard. So it automatically goes to the fourth player, which is red. He grabs the bag, he takes it up. Now this is an elimination match. So now it's a cowboy against an Indian. How neat is that, right? Cowboy and Indians. Who you think gonna win? And some people might be like, "Oh, okay, I don't, you people can, you can usually bet on the games and stuff like that. I don't encourage that, but but I said it. So certain stuff will make it fun. But I don't encourage betting. Yeah. So you don't want to look into the bag, and if you do look into the bag, close it back up, shake it again, okay? Because you don't want to be found cheating. And you reach your hand in, pull something out. A red got to R, okay? R, okay? So since we're playing elimination, red wants to eliminate yellow. So he's trying to spell something that ends with a K, but he has a R. Okay, R, Reek, Reek, or you have to use words. You don't try to spell out a name, James or Rick or anything like that, but it has to be something or a place or something like that. But if a person can't think of anything, they just spell out what they know to spell out, and they just move on with the game. But you said reek, and if we have to look at a dictionary on that, whether reek is a word, you can do that on your phones or Google or something, or just talk. But let's use another word, okay? Okay, R. Let's go with Rich. See, it's opportunity missed. Okay, so he's not going to eliminate this person. He's just going to go for the letters. Rich. Okay, so R. Okay, he marks off the R with a check on his individual sheet, and then he moves to a I, and he marks that off, and then he moves to a C. He marks that off, and he moves to an H. And he's back on that H again. So again, he's back on that H, an opportunity, a disadvantage because he already had that letter, so he can't check that off. Okay. Um, and then it's up to yellow again. So here we go. And again, an opponent's mind is elimination. Especially since it's only two of them on the board. Who's gonna win, right? He reaches in, he pulls out number 2. Sadly, there's nothing more he can do but move to number 2, and that is B. So he moves to B, pointing his gun at the red. Okay, so things like this makes the game a little longer, even though it's 2 players on here. But it gives somebody an opportunity to either eliminate or keep it moving. We don't want to be too long with spelling a word or thinking about what we're going to spell, or that would become cheating. Okay, he reaches in, he pulls out 10. He throws it back in there, closes up the bag, and he moves to J, which is 10. Okay. Yellow turn. Yellow might want to turn around and point his gun here before he even takes the bag. Does he want to make the Indian a real target? He's going to reach in, pulls out a N. Okay, he throws it back in. N. Okay, so he's thinking a little bit. Since the red is on a J, what begins with the N and ends with a J? If he can't think of nothing, he might say, okay, I'm not going to eliminate him then since I can't think of nothing. I'm going to spell out the word ninja. Ninja. Okay, so he's going to spell out the word ninja. You got to say that out loud so people know what you're spelling. And he moves in. Okay, check off the N. I. Check off the I if you don't have it on your list. J. So he hits the J with the Indian on it, but he can't kill the Indian or eliminate him because it's not the last letter. Okay. And IJ. I think it's an A, right? A. So he ends on an A. There's not no H in there, so okay. And it helps us with our spelling as well. So A. And he checks off the A. And that's how he then it's back on the red guy, the Indian. So it makes the game a little longer. A little suspenseful, like what's going to happen, who he thinks is going to win. He reaches in, okay, and it's a 5. If you can really see that, 5. Throw that back in there. All he can do is move to E5, okay. Yellow might want to put his gun at him again, right there, straight ahead, looking at each other, ready to fight, ready to get tired of each other. So it's yellow turn. Player number 2. And I looked, sorry. So if you look, shake it up again. You might want to shake it up real good because you really don't want to pull out a number. You want to pull out a letter. But he pulled out a number, so it's number 13. Okay? So yellow is moving to M, right behind the Indian. Indian has an opportunity to turn around and face his attacker. Red turn. See, like I said, the game can be long, depending on what you pull out. Because elimination is not that simple all the time, right? He pulls out number 12, okay? Especially when we're dealing with numbers. It makes it a little challenging to eliminate. So red is on L. Still closer to the cowboy. Cowboy turns his gun again, watching his opponent. Every time he moves, watching his opponent. He always wants to have the upper hand. Since he has the gun, he has the upper hand. But the Indian has a weapon too, so it depends on who gets to who first, right? Uh, so it's the yellow turn. Player number 2 reaches in the bag, pulls out a T, throw it back in there. He wants to spell the word. He really wants to eliminate. So the red is on the I. So what begins with a T and ends with an I? And you don't want to think too long. So if you can't really think of nothing, just move on to something that you can spell. Tight. T-I-G-H-T. Okay? So he moves from the T. He got a T, so he marks off the T. He marks off the I if he doesn't have it. He marks off the G if he doesn't have it. He marks off the H if he doesn't have it. And he marks off right back at the T. right back where he started, right? And he can't mark that again. So, player number 4 turn again. So this becomes very interesting. Shake that up. Red opens the bag. He reaches in. He pulls out almost 2. Number 7. Okay, again with his numbers. So, just knowing that kind of makes you think okay, this is going to be a long game. But he moves over here, facing his opponent. The opponent wants to turn his gun at him. There. Yet, the other 2 people are still dead until the game is over. Okay? Player number 2's turn. And he wants to reach in, and he pulls out a J. Okay? Okay, pulls out a J. Red is on a G. So what begins with a J and ends with a G? Jog. Good word. So he finally has a chance to eliminate. So yellow moves to J. He checks off the J. He moves to O. Checks off the O. Then he moves to G, which he already had. But it doesn't matter because he eliminated his opponent. And that's game set. Player number 2 wins the game. Okay? And that was just doing both. We hadn't set whether we were going to just eliminate or whether we're just going to do numbers. We was doing both. It kept the game open. Okay? Even though it became an elimination offset anyway. Okay? But we was doing both. Until the very end, okay. So, and I'm not going to do a video on the doing the last letter to the end. That could be a very long game. So I'm going to try to play it again, okay, and give somebody else an opportunity to maybe win. Okay, so yellow goes back, red goes back, and it gives other people a chance to rise. Somebody rise. The winner stays, of course. And somebody take the other 3 place to play the winner or to be the next winner. Okay. So we move to another sheet of paper with a blank list of the alphabets. Okay, this game we're going to just play for elimination. We're not going to even do last letter win, but just elimination. Okay. So starting off with green, he shakes the bag, opens it up, pulls something out. He pulls out an L. Okay. L. Okay. So he marks off his L and he wants to spell lion. Okay. So L I, he marks off his I. O, he marks off his O. And N. He ends on an N, so he stays there. And he marks off his N. Okay? Player number 2 is yellow. And this is for elimination. So he has a 6. So he can't really do nothing. So he moves to 6. But he's kind of close to him. And he points his gun to the green. The green points his gun back at him. Okay? Okay. That's the only time you can eliminate is when you got a number. And you just jump right there. Okay? So blue pulls out a 10. Okay. And he moves to the letter J or 10. And he's on the board, okay? Red. Now in their mind, they're thinking elimination. So as long as they don't get a number, which he got, and it's a 2, okay? So red sits at B, right behind the other Indian. So the other Indian takes notice, and he turns with his spear toward the other Indian, ready to attack, just like you see over here. You know, cowboy against cowboy, and then Indian against Indian. Okay, not really a good look, but the way of the world, right? Brother against brother. Okay, so green is next, and I looked. So you want to make sure you don't look in the bag. Shake it up if you do. You reach in, you pull out 11. So green is moving on 11, right next to the blue Indian, and he's pointing at the Indian. So the blue Indian is kind of at a bad placement. So he can either move like slanted like this, where he's kind of like, which one is going to move? Which one is coming at me? So I can pow, pow, but he's at a stance to protect himself. Defense. Okay. Next player, yellow. Shakes it up. Nobody eliminated nobody yet. So we have the letter E. Okay. So now yellow has a chance to eliminate E. Okay. So he marks off his E, and he wants to spell something that he can eliminate somebody. Okay. And he can't do this too long. So EB, let me see. He can't think of nothing. So E, he wants to spell egg. So E, he marks off the E. G, he marks off the G, and he stays on that G, okay? So he's way over there. He had no opportunity to eliminate. Blue turn, he pulls out what is this? Number 4. Okay, throws that back in there. And blue moves to 4. Oh, sorry. Right here, behind the green cowboy. So the cowboy wants to turn his gun toward him in protection because he's real close, okay? Now it's the red turn. Nobody eliminated yet, right? So it happens like this, especially when we get these numbers. Another number, 6. Red has 6. So he moves down closer to the yellow cowboy. And he already has his gun pointed at him, okay? So this game is so violent, right? So it's back on the first player, green, and he reaches in his hand and he pulls out an S, okay? So he has an opportunity to eliminate, okay? So He wants to spell sad because he sees somebody on the letter D. Okay, so S, and you mark off the letter S. A, mark off the letter A if you don't have it, and D. And he eliminates the blue Indian. Down, 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 down. He's gone. He's a goner. And you lay them down on their back when they're dead, because that's how the dead lays, on their back. I mean, you might catch a few weird funerals where people are dead in their car up like this. You've seen some stuff like that, which is crazy, but a regular dead person lays on their back dead. Okay, so that's just a little joke. Okay, so that was green. Yellow's turn. Player number 2 shakes up the bag, opens the bag without looking, and he had to drop in something, and he pulls out an E. Okay, so he wants to eliminate, and okay, he can't really think of nothing, but he spells out edge. Okay, so E, he marks off E. D, so he hits the D where the green is at, but he can't eliminate him because that's not his last letter. And then he jumps on the G. He's back on the G, then he's back on the E. Edge. Okay, that's about all he did. Okay, and the Indian has a right to turn around. So you have a cowboy pointing his gun at him, and an Indian right behind him. So basically, the yellow cowboy is at a bad in a bad situation. Okay. I mean, unless the two cowboys turn on the Indian, who knows? We shall see, right? So is it blue's turn? But blue is already a goner, so it's red. Skips on the red, and he reaches in the bag, pulls out 14. Okay, so 14 is in. So he moves in right here, away from the target. So he moves in a safer atmosphere. He wants his peace, okay, and not war at that time. Okay, so back on green. Player 1 takes up the bag, reaches his hand in, pulls out, and I'm sorry. He pulls out an L. Okay. And he wants to eliminate, so he wants to spell. Man. Okay. Line. He can't think of nothing, so L. He marks off the L. I. He marks off the I. N. But he can't stay there and eliminate, so he has to move to his last letter. Oh, E, line. He does eliminate. He eliminate the yellow cowboy. So yellow cowboy goes to the grave because he was on E. Wow, I didn't pay attention to that. So a lot of times, you might want to spell a letter and you don't see that a person is on that letter, and you think like, man, I ain't got nobody. I didn't eliminate nobody. But sometimes you find out like, wow, I guess I did eliminate somebody. Boom. So that's the gist of the game. Okay. So yellow is gone. Okay. So that was green that did that. Yellow's turn, but he's gone. Blue's turn, but he's gone. So now it's up to red and green. So red gets the bag. Red is player 4. Green is player 1. So 1 and 4 are against each other. Who do you think will win? All right. Who you got? Who you think gonna win? So I think it's red turn, right? Yeah. Red reaches in, he pulls out an S, okay? And he wants to eliminate, so he says, okay, I want to spell, this is easy, okay? I want to spell C. Of course, you can only get two letters out of that because the other E is like, you can't mark off another E. But he gets the elimination. S, marks off the S. And since green is on the E, E, E. He has two E's. Doesn't matter about the other E because he eliminated his opponent. In the graveyard, the winner is the Red Chief Indian. Well, that's the gist of the game. I hope you enjoyed it. That was elimination, the elimination portion. And I played the neutral portion where you did elimination and, to the end with the letters if you wanted to. Or if you just wanted to play. But the gist of it is you're basically doing the same thing, eliminating, blah, 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 if you have to. So that's the gist of the game. All right. Well, maybe I should explain that better because I got that for a reason. Elimination, because they're eliminating, period. But if you want to do a letter to the end, basically you eliminate until you get to the last two people. That's how that works. Okay, when you're playing on the sheet, it says last letter win. You check that off. If you don't check off elimination, say for instance you don't want to play elimination, you just want to play last letter win. So you go through the full process of eliminating people and jumping on numbers and jumping on letters until the last two opponents. Then you play until the last person gets the letter. All the letters. All the letters. Like bingo. And that's basically how you play that portion of the part of the game. So I had to get that clear. So I hope you enjoyed the game. I'm looking for funders. It's a very fun game. It's a very challenging game, and it causes us to bring out our, I'm going to get you part of ourselves. It's called Alphabet Bandit. I'm the inventor of this game. It's full of bounty hunting fun, and I'm glad and I'm sure you're going to have fun with it. So subscribe, and thank you for watching.